What does it mean to have standards for yourself, and how do you accomplish creating standards? Having standards for yourself, in a nutshell, is holding yourself accountable and being responsible for what you tolerate in life when it comes to how energy is received and how you exude energy to the world. To give it some depth, having standards is essentially what you come with. It's your rule book, it's your life rule book, based upon many factors from childhood to date. It allows you to understand what you're willing to tolerate in life when it comes to food, for example, what you allow yourself to eat, what you are willing to put up with when it comes to how people treat you, and vice versa. When it comes to how you create those or achieve the ability to understand that you may or may not have standards currently, it is simple as self-reflection and developing self-awareness. And as I said previously in other videos, self-awareness and self-reflection practices are the most healthiest ways to allow yourself to stop, understand why you're feeling what you're feeling, and from there you are willing to create healthy barriers that you can receive in this world. So for example, if someone speaks to you in a manner that you are not able to stay calm and relaxed in, then that is your standard of conversation. And due to you having a standard of conversation, that's when you can implement boundaries and say, hey, your tone of voice is not a tone of voice that I'm comfortable with when it comes to communicating. Therefore, I feel it's best that we separate for 5 minutes, take a deep breath, and I would love to readdress this conversation when you are not in a loud or threatening manner, etc., etc. As plain and simple as those two surface level definitions are of what standards are and how one can achieve standards, the work and the time and effort that goes into having to develop this is something that it varies, but not to be in general, it's tough on a majority of people because we were raised without really understanding what standards were, let alone enforcing our standards onto people. And it takes time. So it's something not to be rushed, nor is it something that can be perfected overnight. Developing standards is a lifelong journey, and in order to get there, you really have to be comfortable with yourself. You have to understand how to breathe, take your time with things, and develop a foundation for comfortability when it comes to you dealing with you, yourself, and yourself. It's literally all it is. It's taking the time to have those conversations with yourself. Journaling is an amazing way to open up. Having diary entries for your day-to-day. It's a habit that takes time, and as you develop that, your standards will develop and change with you, but it's definitely never too late to start. And it's a healthy practice to start by looking at yourself and understanding why you get upset, what makes you mad, and then you overcome those. But in between you being triggered and then overcoming something, it's safe for you to implement those set standards and to speak it in a way of healthy communication. So that way no one is intentional about wanting to deceive or disrupt someone else's joy. So to sum everything up, to keep keep yourself in a higher vibration and to maintain individuality. Don't be afraid to be unique and to identify what makes you unique. That's the special part of living a life and being fulfilled and achieving prosperity in ways that you could never imagine. I challenge you to find who you are and to set your standards for life. The Prince Sua Experience.